Calls to increase housing supply. Let's have a look. Hello everyone, Florian here and welcome to another episode of HeiseSays. Grab your stein of coffee. Let's check out this article, which is repeating something I've been saying for some time, and I think a lot of people have been saying for some time. Well, we need to increase housing supply. Now, the issue is a complex one. You've got federal government, state government, and councils all really having different levels of impact on the situation. You've got people calling for and whinging and complaining about housing affordability and then going to a not in my backyard protest to stop affordable housing, or even just downsizing for empty nesting housing apartments to free up stock in another part of the city or country. Yeah, that's how it is in Australia, guys. We all love to talk about housing affordability, but I really don't think there's any political will to make any real difference. Perhaps I'm just getting too cynical, perhaps. So builders call for housing supply boost as rental inflation intensifies. Despite interest rates falling from a 30-year peak, I'm assuming that's inflation rates, calls have been renewed to address entrenched inflation in the housing sector. Builders have called for more to be done to address alarming rates of inflation in the sector as rental inflation soars to its quickest rate since 2009. The ABS released inflation figures for the March quarter on Wednesday, showing a fall in Australia's inflation rate from its 30-year peak. While the deceleration in inflation extended to new home purchase costs, it did not dampen worsening rental costs. Master Builders Australia Chief Economist Shane Garrett said the annual inflation rate slipping to 7% showed the wider benefits building new homes had on tackling inflation. Less favourably, rental inflation surged to 4.9% and is now rising more quickly than at any time since 2009, he said. Mr. Garrett said many landlords were passing mortgage interest increases on to tenants, further worsening rental costs. The cost of living also rose 1.4% in the quarter, its slowest quarterly rise in more than a year. MBA Chief Executive Danita Warren said immediate action was needed to boost housing supply. I mean, MAB or MBA, Master Builders Association. You can say that, but it takes a long time to build a house. It takes a long time to prepare a site. It takes a long time to secure the trades to get everything sorted. You can't just boost supply. We need to have some systematic changes. We've got NCC, National Construction Code changes, which are going to be more onerous, which sound all good. Livability access, fantastic. Allowing people to age in place, that's awesome. More energy efficient housing, that's fantastic. But it all increases the cost. That's the reality of it. If you're voting for these particular policies, many driven by ideological purposes, I'd argue, well, you're voting for more expensive housing, guys. You just have to realize that. That's the Australian way. In addition to higher interest rates, supply of new housing continues to be impeded by a range of factors, including insufficient supply of titled residential land, higher developer charges, inflexible planning laws, ongoing community opposition to development, and long lead times for delivering new supply, she said. I would also make the argument that we're seeing a significant increase or a significant number of builders go bust. That's the construction apocalypse that we've been discussing here on the channel. Now, my real concern from that is the experience that we're losing from the industry. That's the concern, the brain drain, when people go, it's not worth it. Because this has been a profitless boom. Okay, there are people that have been flat out busy. And what are you doing? You're working away your life. You're as a builder or a trader, you're smashing your body. And if you're not making any coin, what's the point? Go sell paint at Bunnings. It's easier. So, for many builders and developers, initial large-scale home building projects in the current environment is simply too risky. Governments need to act to address this major problem. Despite falling from its 30-year peak of 7.8% in the 12 months to December, inflation rates are still more than twice the Reserve Bank's target for interest rates. What? Oh, yes, okay. New dwellings up 12.7%, electricity 15.5%, domestic holiday travel and accommodation 25% were the most significant contributors to annual inflation. Inflation still remains well above the Reserve Bank's target rate of 2 and 3% and will likely be a key talking point when the board meets next week. So there we go, everyone. You know what? Let's remind ourselves. Let's remind ourselves of, well, the I'm going to call it the 9 pillars of the housing sector here in Australia. Let's bring up that PowerPoint. There we go. Let's remind ourselves what these are. Okay. Boom, boom, boom. We've got here, claims of the Aussie housing bust. 8 reasons why it might not happen. I have to increase it now. It's 9. I'm going to rebrand this. I'm calling these the pillars of the housing economy here in Australia, everyone. And the first one is, well, we've got bad loans, but they're still very, very low. And even from the peak, non-performing loans are going down. I need to update these charts, but it is not the catastrophe that some people are predicting. I'm starting to suspect we may have a biased opinion of the average Aussie because of the way the media portrays them. The news is always going to focus on the negative. So we're always going to see stories about people getting conned out of money again and again and again. Or we're going to see stories about people borrowing too much money and blaming everyone else. That's just how it is in the media. We've got opening the floodgates. Migration is returning to Australia. People want to live here, guys. That's just how it is. It's skyrocketed right back up. There we go. We've got the construction apocalypse. You've got builders going under left, right, and center. I'm trying to find out if there's a way to measure the brain drain from this construction apocalypse because the size of the overall construction sector is still going up. We had them. Notice this here. This is construction companies entering external administration, how it dipped down and jumped right back up. That was the result of allowing builders, or allowing all companies actually, to trade while insolvent. Isn't that awesome, just changing the rules? That's what we do. You've got government support for the sector. You've got the RBA crashing the cash rate. I know that's technically not the government, but you've got, 3%. We're just above the emergency level for the cash rate target now. Home builder, that overheated the housing market. You've got home buyer grants. In WA, you were getting up to 88 grand at one point for foreign investors and all the discounts and deals they were getting. You've got the 5 and 2% government loans. You've got negative gearing. Now we have shared equity as well. And the super withdrawals, the funds may have told you everyone used it just for boob jobs and gambling. But no, most people used it to pay off debt. Which, if you think about it, what return are you getting on your super, and what return would you get instantly if you pay off a credit card? The problem is you need to stop spending on it. You've got the zombie companies that we kept alive thanks to allowing people to trade while insolvent. You've got the not in my backyard crowds, councils limiting development, all of this fun stuff. And then you've got market competition. There's only 3 places people really want to move, or half our population live in these 3 cities. That's not going to change. Because people are saying, look how big Australia is. Look at all this. It's because it's all shit here. No one wants to live in the middle of the country, guys. It's shit, hot desert. Okay, you want to live near services and civilization. You don't want to live out in the sticks. Maybe you do. Fantastic. Go to Coober Pedy. You can get, That's the reason why they build the houses underground out there. You've got the NCC changes. These latest ones are going to add 30 grand to every new build. And now you've got APRA interventions, adding a buffer to all the calculations. They'll remove it to not choke off credit. So there you go. That's the equivalent of an interest rate increase. You've got family support here. The very ones on the channel, 30, 36, and 66% of you will help family. And then finally, the FOMO impact. Look at all the total number of dwellings and look at how many sales happened in 2021. 600,000 of the 10.5 million. And of those, say only 200 or 10,000 are the government loans that are probably potentially at greatest risk, or at least that's how the media is portraying it with all the sob story articles. So, yeah, guys, that's all of the reasons that are impacting our housing sector. We need to increase supply. Let's have a talk about this. I mean, it's a challenging situation. It's easy you'll find people who blame the developers for land banking and all of this stuff, and just, we need to increase supply. It's easy to say, but it's difficult to do. Building a building is a complex process. There's a lot of things that need to go on. There's a lot of costs associated with it. I saw another article about people turning to tiny houses. And well, you know what? I was going to do this as a separate video, but let's look at this right now. Okay, let's look at just some houses from back in the day. Okay, we have a look here. You know, these are old houses that people used to buy as starter homes, and some, you know, here, look at this one here, Bowville, or the Bay Vale. I probably pronounced it wrong, but anyway, you've got a lounge, a dining, 3 bedrooms, no walk-in robes. Here, simple, tight plan. You've even got a fireplace. You've got a wash closet, off a laundry, and a kitchen, and then a bathroom here. So that, you know, there's no ensuite. There's limited outdoor construction. They've even got a carport. I'm assuming that's an addition to it here, because it's not shown on the plan here. Where would the carport be? That'd be about here. You know, there's the carport, probably as an optional extra. But compare that to the standard build now. I mean, if you're doing a development, are you going to build one like this? You'll make less money on it. Or are you going to put more money into it? I mean, back in the day, people would build a small house and then you would extend on it as your needs required. But even then, you know, we're seeing people building houses so close together. You might as well go and build row houses. We need to densify closer to the cities. We need to address the not in my backyard crowd first. That's the first issue. We need to look at row housing, and we need to look at European models of densifying our cities. I'd rather we have lower built height at a more human scale pushed out further than high isolated towers. And you want to build around transportation. The whole 15-minute city thing, it's not a global conspiracy. It's sensible town planning. You should be able to. There should be enough zoning around where you live if you're in a city to allow you to live comfortably within 15 minutes. You shouldn't have to drive for an hour or 30 minutes across the city to get to a service. You know, we need to decentralize and spread the city out. But we'll see, everyone. This is an ongoing debate and discussion. And I think I'll prepare a more detailed video where we'll compare and contrast. We'll probably do it as a live stream, actually. We'll compare and contrast 70s architectural starter homes with today's. Anyway, thanks for watching. Let me know if you're interested in that live stream idea. Like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Check out Heise BIM or Heise Does. And if you're a fan and enjoy the content I create here, you can support us on YouTube or Patreon. Use our referral links, buy our pocket squares, or call us if you need an architect. Take care, have a great day, and I'll see you in the next episode of HeiseSays. Bye for now.